Good evening, gangsters. We are back again for some squats. I'm gonna do my session here, and then a couple of people have asked me for a couple little simple or short tips for a squat. So I'm gonna show that as soon as I finish the session here. So I'll try to put that in. I might even condense it to a short. We'll see yet, but because I don't want to make it easily digestible. So I'll show you basically the difference between a high bar and a low bar. One of the main things is there's a ton of ways to squat, but that's two of the most probably common ones. High bar is probably what most people are going to start out as because you might not have the shelf built there to lay the bar down lower on your back or the flexibility, you're just used to that. So your feet will probably be a little bit closer together and you're going to be a lot more straight up and down. Whereas a low bar, you're leaning back a little bit, you know? So, but anyways, that's just a little taster. I'll fill you guys in on that in just a moment, but it will be part of the video. But we're back for 405 check-in here. This is what we do. You know, it's we might call this Hotel 405 because we're always just checking in at it. You know, forget the Four Seasons, it's the 405. We're staying at the Four Plates, the Four Nuggets. Yeah, they're down at the Iron Nugget. Okay, let's make this one fast, snappy. Come on, baby. All right, we're gonna do one last single at 455 here, and then we'll move right into some sixes. And stay tuned for the magic numbers. Oh, can't make it fly, fella. Come on now. Oh. I'll make you sixes, huh? Come on, buddy. Come on. Just give me this set now. Come on. All right, we're going to pop some back down sets here. 425 instead of 6. Okay, come on, man. Come on now. Last one, bro. Close it out now. Come on. Oh, yeah. The closing set. I will cool off the engine here a little bit. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show a little difference between a high bar and a low bar. There's some easy squat shit. So, never squats outside the rack. Always be inside with the safeties. I don't care if you're doing just empty bar. Safety first, and that's no joke. So do that. But for the next clip, I'm going to come outside the rack with like a plate or something just to show a couple little simple notes. Because some people have been asking me about barbell back squat, high bar and low bar. Just going to throw a few tips in. Stay tuned. Okay, y'all. So thanks for sticking around. We've done the stick around. I had to do that random one, then it just jumped in my head. But yeah, we're doing I'm going to show high bar first. So I'll show it from taken out of the rack, then I'll show a side view, and then I'll show what the feet should be looking like. All right. So that'll give you a 3-point view. I'll do that for high bar, and then I'll do the exact same thing for low bar. All right. So main thing here, what I want you to see is, you could have the high bar and the low bar could be one block. As you can see, the little holes here, they could be one in the difference because, for an example, you may have the bar say at this height, or opposed to the low bar, you may have it there. So sitting real on the meat of the rear delts or just above if it's high bar, right? But you don't want to put it right on top of your neck because just don't want to hurt yourself. So anyways, what we're going to do here is first thing is most important is the unrack. And of course, you're going to be inside the rack, but again, this is just for the purpose of the demo. So as you can see, this is good for high bars, just a little bit above my nipples. So your chest tight. So that way I got to get underneath and I really got to wedge myself into the bar before I go to unrack it. You don't want to just jump in and be half close to the bar and then just try to take it out. You want to make the bar a part of you. And that's going to be the safest thing. Same as when you do a goblet squat. You don't hold the bar out here. You're unstable. It's going to be too far in front of you. You want to keep it tight, keep it next to your body. And then, more even important than taking it off is putting it back. If you got to get up on your toes, which I see probably 7 out of 10 people do in the gym, if you got to get up on your toes to take it out, how do you think you're going to put it back in after you've done a set of 6 or a set of 8? So if you're unsure where to have the rack for your height, always put it one below what you think you need, because you can always hit the iron and it'll fall into the actual J-cup, into the rack itself, as opposed to not being able to put it in there. And it's happened to me before and it ain't fun. So we'll start with the side view now. So we'll start with side view now, and this would be for high bar. So high bar is going to be a lot more vertical. So it's going to look more like an Olympic lifter as opposed to a power lifter, or at least 99% of them anyways. So I just got to adjust this a little bit here in the rack. Okay, so main thing is find a spot on the bar and put your hands at the same time. And you walk up to the empty bar to 1 plate, 2 plate, 4 plates, 6 plates, whatever you're going to do. You approach the bar the exact same way every time. You get yourself in a rhythm. You get your body used to it. Just neural adaptation, all right, if you want to get real crack with it. So I'm going to square my feet up, be dead center of the bar. I'm getting underneath. And there we go. The bar is a part of me now. You want to get 2 steps back if you can. 2 steps would be good, okay? So from this one here, we're going to... Okay, so what you're doing there, always take the air in at the top. You never want to be breathing as you're descending, because the weight is going to multiply. It's going to feel a lot heavier than what it is. So as you can see, the way that I move down there, I might put a voice clip over it and break it down even better, because it's pretty loud here now, so I might need to make it a little bit more concise. So for high bars, that's what it's going to look like from the side. Okay, very vertical, very straight up and down. And as you can see, the bar is up high on my back. It's not low bar, and I'm not sitting back. So I'll show you what the feet look like for that now. Okay, so for the feet here, this is what we're going to do. So for males and females, this can be different, okay? So for females, because your pelvic shape is different than us, then you guys can get away with sometimes having your feet pretty much directly straight ahead, your toes like this. But for 99% of people, and mostly all males, you got to have them turned out a little bit. That allows you to sit back into the squat, okay? All right, so it gives you a little pathway for your legs to stay inside, for your torso to go inside of your legs, okay? So I'll let you know what this is still high bar now. I'll let you know when it changes. All right, so we get underneath, wedge in, take the bar out, 2 steps, get sorted. Actually, I'll go a little bit further back just for the sake of the camera so you can see. So I got my feet turned out. My feet are kind of shoulder width apart. They'd be a bit wider in the low bar, okay? So take your breath in. There we go. Okay, so the big thing there about the way the knees are going, they're not going forwards. They're not going like this. The knees are going outwards. So that way you can fit underneath. Your torso can stay inside of your legs. Okay? And now I'm going to show you the difference with the high bars and low bar. So still high bar. This will be the last point for high bar. We'll go into low bar. Okay? So This is just going to show you kind of where it is on my back. It'll be slightly different for everyone's anatomy, but this is just a little rule of thumb for you, okay? So high bar would be in this sort of vicinity. Wedge in pretty much right here, okay? So take it out, boom, finished. Whereas a low bar would be a little bit deeper right there on the rear delts, or the posterior delts. So the difference is not a huge difference, probably just the circumference of the bar. That's probably just the difference. That's it, okay? So now I'll show the tips for the low bar. Okay, guys, so as you just seen in that view, then you'll see where I take the low bar off. I just put that in, so you'll know kind of handy about where it is. So now I'm going to show you low bar from the side, and then I'll show you low bar from the front, okay? So let's get set up. Same thing, whether it's high bar, low bar, front squat, whatever you're doing. You get your grip set right, you get your feet set, make sure you're dead center in the bar, make sure the bar is even in the racks, okay? And then you're going to come in underneath, get set, lots of air in, wedge yourself right into the bar. There you go. And they're 2 steps back, okay? And then with the low bar here, what you're doing is you're breaking at the hips. Very similar thing to think about here is you're sitting on a toilet. You've all done that before, okay? Unless you got a latrine instead of a toilet. So all you do now is breathe in. As you can see, it's a little more back than it is down. So the first movement is breaking at the hips and backs and then down, as opposed to high bar, which is very vertical. And if you're wondering, can you do more high bar, low bar? It depends on the person, but 95% of the time, you're going to be able to do more in a low bar position just because you got more muscles working for you. It's not just your quads. Obviously, everything is kind of working because you got weight on your back and it's a barbell, but you're recruiting your glutes more, your posterior chain, hamstrings, your back is in it as well. You can kind of push at the same time with your back and your legs. So for 95% of people, you could do more low bar. I'll show you low bar from the front now so you can get a better handle. Okay, so now I'm going to show you from the front as low bar. And as you've seen, it's more sitting back first rather than down. An easy way I try to think of it is if you take a band, just like in your mind, if somebody's got a band around your back and they're kind of pulling on the band, to pull the hips back first. Okay, so you'll see what that's like. So basically, before we start, the stance is just going to be a touch, a little bit wider, and that's pretty much it. You're just going to sit back. So the stance is a touch wider. You're going back a little more with your hips as opposed to going directly down, okay? So enough chit chat. I'll show you what that looks like. So same steps here. Get your hands squared up where you like it. Get pinched in. Wedge yourself right into the bar. Bring it back. 2 steps. There we go. So got my feet set now, and I'm going to once more. And the most important thing is you want to try to get that full range of motion as much as you can. So are you going to be able to fly all the way down to the floor like that at first workout? Maybe not, but that's okay. You don't come in and do that right away, right? So what I would do is I would warm up against the rack. So you can hold the rack like this and you can find your depth position there. And then I'd much rather see somebody do full depth with just the empty bar rather than put a plate on and go halfway. All right. So just slowly but surely, and you make the gains a lot quicker than you think. All right. So take those steps with you. And if there's something that's not clear, you need any more, just throw it in the comments. Or if you're here at my gym, then you can come up to me, no worries. But one thing I want to show you here is if you're trying to figure out which is my most powerful position, or which is your most powerful position, you're trying to figure out, should I do high bar, low bar, where am I going to be the most powerful? There's a little tip that I saw from Stan Efferding when he's trying to show people how to squat. So just sit on a box or a bench or whatever. And just like I said about getting up off the toilet, when you go to get up, you're not going to get up straight like this because you're going to fall right back. You're going to slightly lean forward and then get up, right? So I would just videotape yourself doing that. All you got to do is 10 seconds, do it a couple times. And then what I want you to do is say pause it when you get about, say, 6 inches to a foot off the bench or off the chair. And when you get there and you see how your back is aligned and how your hips and your knees and everything are, for your body, that's a pretty good rule of thumb, pretty safe bet that your body is going to put you in the strongest position to get up from there. All right. So when you're right here, boom, then you're going to get up. So if you freeze frame that, then you can kind of have that kind of baseline to look at for how your squat should look from the side. So I'd recommend taping it from the side, tape it from an angle on the front, kind of like I do in the videos here. And I wouldn't really tape it from the back because you can't really see directly back on that well. So I'd either go from the side or from the front in an angle. Okay. But that should be some tips that should help you out.